Like disorder. Flipped another couple of pages of the manual and went, oh, look at this. Classification 65, consensual behaviour. As far as he was concerned, I just kind of stepped the diagnostic manual a little and moved into what I feel. That classification was still in place. So technically we started an event that the police could walk in the door and have these sections for running. Because of the work that the Swedish groups were doing both terms. So by 2007, classification 65 was removed and cyber basically legitimate and sexually enforced. Okay, they now is part of human section, and year upon year we're closer to a more mainstream acceptance. I hate to say it, but there's more acceptance than anything with those books. Because all of a sudden, everyone into some kind of kink. I have friends who live in New York who are like, oh my God, I'm rope. And I'm like, what? Why do you want rope? Because they have 6mm in rope in New York State. What? Kind of catapulted the whole thing. And I've used quotes connected with that book numerous times with journalists, because if they're ringing me up to go, oh, we need market in Hull, and what are the people of Hull think? Off, we're having some adults. Journalist is haranguing me over. Okay. I want you for a second to think about the of the whole Daily Mail. Okay, you think about the number of warehouses and copies of 50 Shades of Grey. Which numbers? And he was like, oh. I said, now, I'm doing this to save you, because an article that said, fucking filthy kicksters and all this kind of stuff. I'm willing to bet that some of your advertisers have read that book. The last thing I want for you to do is, as a newspaper, is to upset your advertisers, because you'll go out of business. By the time the interview finished, we got this glorious thought about how fetish events were actually inward investments. Picking up hotel rooms on the weekend when you know not being old. Obviously having to eat in all the local restaurants and all the rest. And he concluded that just like Prague and the tourist body for the said, oh my God, we need a fetish weekend. And they built a fetish weekend around. And actually, in the tourism sector, because people who were obviously not bringing the kids for the weekend, they're out for all the time. As a result, stayed at a nice hotel, having a great weekend, they're supporting local businesses and events, and the amount of money that is generated by those weekends has been with the whole Daily Mail were protected. Different from the start of the conversation, because I had to kind of calmly say, well, what do you want to do? It's since Sophie Lancaster, or 6 years since us. Which angle are you going with this today? Because both of those, you know, filthy, horrible, deviant, they're a bit passé. So, a little bit more about you have an idea. Holly, I generally have a quite structured relationship. if I had to child flat, take maybe, and most of the content would have to come out. Because you walk into my bedroom, referred to as a nest of swords, with about 7 or 8 of them. Yeah, they all have to go if I leave my house. So I'm very much a bachelor with no intention to have children, because actually I have lots of fun. Um, when I my family, I suppose. My older brother had still, my older brother's partner had been in the doctors, was reading a copy of Marie Claire and an article about spanking workshop. So he immediately kind of got in the car, went to my parents, look at what it's doing! And Mum rang me up, oh my God, what's going on here? Quick as a flash, I remember and she said to me, whatever you're doing at the moment that's making me happy, keep doing it. So quick as a flash, I said, you remember last Sunday? Yeah. Saying doing this, like, keep doing it? Yeah. Sorry, I had to find out this one. Yes. And a challenge for them, because obviously they because I have very much put myself out there, I have a lot of things of people actually openly kinky. I've got contracts and all that before. In kinksy, people are finding their own kinks, not so good. And we try and say, your kink is okay with my kink, anyone else is young, but unfortunately we live in a world where some people haven't. And it's funny because people will saunter around believing that they have the God-given right to do whatever they want, and then be really funny about it. Always to shock them. Particularly when we live in a society that has so many rules. You can't hit a woman, can you? Asks for it. The rest of society is pre-programmed. Can be difficult for people to come to terms with things like that. And over the years, there have been a number of times where male dom is going, yeah, but I can't use those words. And I'm like, the words she wants you to use. Yeah, but. Brought up in a family where you're not allowed to use words like that. Okay, right. Find some a bit close, not quite the full experience. In the course of the day, we just upped the ante a little bit every or so, and by the end, and she's loving it. And he's going, oh God, you know what? I feel relief for being able to say that. Men are brought up to behave in a certain way and hit around the ear if you don't. To some extent, there is a different set of pressures placed on women. Okay? And in a world where we want to come out with, and the only limit to that exploration is to find someone who consents to what you want to do. Brilliant. Awesome. If you don't, well, don't go out on a Friday night with a balaclava. Okay? Because to that end, there's a poster over there that says clear on consent in kink. Okay? The basis of it. Because at the end of the day, not a single one of us has knowing all. Okay? We all have to learn. It's a workshop we do kind of 3 or 4 a year, and it gives you the opportunity to say, I've attended the workshop, you can stand and take a picture, and you're looking for other people, the same message, the same understanding. Because at the end of the day, you will find that will consent to practically anything. Necessarily healthy, but at the end of the day, we'll have the same key. It's a matter of learning how to do it. Okay? With community, they're very good. There is an entire code, and depending on which back pocket hang and what the colour is, tells you what kind of games you like to play. Yellow hankies are probably best avoided. It just gives you that. Dominance. However, we would recommend that you have some conversations with people. Because you know what? Things to do. Okay? Understand what the person is. If it's probably either or a skinny person. Well, you want to find that information out before you start playing. Because otherwise, 2 or 3 froggish you might get right, they're nice and heavy and thuddy. You then pick something up that's incredibly, and the person drifting and going into happy suddenly snaps out of it. And then not be maybe again without that, no, they're going to be like very angry because they've been pulled out of that happy space. So think about what you do and have the conversations that are appropriate to those. Obviously, kink is a spectrum. Like mild spanking down at this end, through to frog my one. Okay? Now, if you like spanking in a public space, then you probably need to have a very small conversation. Why is the other way? You have to have some very serious conversations. Screening for bloodborne pathogens. That, because at the end of the day, you don't want someone's blood contaminated with HIV or HSV sprayed all over your wall. Okay? Conversation about what we. And if you're not comfortable doing something, do it. Okay? Because there's an awful lot of people who are like, oh my god, it's kink, I read all 3 of those books, I know what I'm doing, whoosh, and off they rush. Fucking bully. Now, I think partly it's because people seem to assume that the moment all the activities off in BDSM, a unicorn's going to come farting glitter and giving you an award. I'm not seeing it. It actually exists, but it doesn't stop you. Okay? At the end of the day, you have the rest of your lives to integrate all of it. Now, take your time, do things you can, explore at a pace that you're both comfortable with. And that pace checking works equally well for both dominance and if you're the other side of that is bonds can get damaged too. If you're cajoled or forced into doing something that you don't enjoy, the chances are for the days afterwards, it's in your head. Yeah, I did that, but I'm not comfortable doing that. It's a niggle in the back of your head. Okay? Best thing I can say, avoid. Okay? Have those conversations to make sure that you're both comfortable and happy with what you're about to do. And as part of that, have conversations about what do we do if this goes wrong? How are we going to extract out of this? If there is a problem, what are we going to do to try and repair that afterwards? Because it didn't happen. It's a while. Okay? I guarantee you don't solve that situation by panicking. Okay? You solve that situation by putting your finger in, putting it around the neck of the buffalo, and twisting as you bring it out. Okay? That's how we do it. Ideally, you use butt plugs with much larger flared bases, so that at the end of the day they're not going to end up inside. But you want a nice hit in there. They don't always come with flared bases, so be prepared to extract. Okay? And actually, that we like pre-mortem. That phrase? Well, most of you, I hope, would understand post-mortem is investigation after some work out what went wrong. You can do that as a pre-mortem as well. Oh my God, if we do this, what shit that could happen? And if you think, then you can prevent it from happening. In my case, it used to be every time I went to play on a weekend day, my mother would ring. Now, I don't have one of those mothers thinking about me. Well, I'm happy. I'm happy when I'm playing. As a result, the first procedure would be take the landline off the hook. Okay? Because at the end of the day, I'm disturbed. And I guarantee it's not your mother ringing to say, oh, how are you? I was thinking about you the other day. Or some shit about conversation. Okay? So just take it on. But think about all of what you're about to do. Okay? If there is a problem, first aid program. Do you apply the appropriate things for aftercare? I'm thinking might be that you play, wrap me in a blanket and leave me in the corner. I don't need to be fussed over. Special hot chocolate, they need their specific mug, they need their teddy bear or whatever. So have those conversations beforehand. Pre-mortem it, work out what could go wrong, and hopefully not. But if it does go wrong, you're looking at it. And it might be, if this goes, we both we're meeting for coffee. Because that way you can have a couple of days incident and you can decide what it is. Okay, we'll play again, or you know what, no, this isn't working. Okay? But set that time aside, okay, and follow through. Even if you have the most awful play session, you have to get. Okay. Kink is a massive set of skills. Please learn to crawl before you learn to walk and run. Okay? There are so many people, and I suppose it fits into the category of all the gear. Okay? Every single sport and activity has these who buy the most amazing kit, thinking that this activity, no. It's not all about the kit. Kit can be helpful, yes, but right better than and some as high school shit. It's actually got the right weight. Okay? But with toys, for God's sake, pick it up before you. Okay? Because you look at the picture, God, that's a big, heavy, powerful flogger. Knives and the handle's made out of pine, incredibly light. Balls are incredibly heavy, and the thing just isn't weighted right. You go out and you go to a store like 3 Unlimited toys, and the handle's pretty much whatever. If you make them much more controlled, they're easier to use, easier to match up with. And you use not giving you the information you're looking for. How I explain that? I've never seen anyone in Anson's employee or fraud. Bless their cause. The other area I'm rather adept at is SM in the law. Has anyone heard of this? A few hands? Okay. So, there was a video that was discovered playing up in Yorkshire. Quite and it did involve this video and decided that, oh my God, that is so absolutely horrific, the person must launch the murder. Now, no one died. It was on video, there was evidence. Whole case got thrown up around it. 15 people spent years in. Now, there all going on, but under 1951, sorry, 61, offences against you and your. And that's the key activity. Marks that are greater than trifling and transient. Good luck trying to find what trifling and transient in the world. It's an offence. Now the problem is, you've both committed an offence. If they, and I'm assuming you're the bottom in this one, right or wrong. So, you might find the video of you, let's say you went to the doctors the next day and said, oh, I need to do a full exam, there's a pain mark across your eyes. So, you prosecute affecting your own assault. Now, it's okay, please understand, you're off. Yeah, not nice, is it? Mm-hmm. Now, I've seen that one played by the police 5 over the last 20 years, and it's very difficult for people to back out of because the stress of the police is just like absolute. I've done live TV maybe 150 times, a whole sitting on the couch with Sophie Ridgway or whatever. Shit. You're as stressful as 12 police officers turning up at your house for search warrant. 2017, because someone in the country, having already burnt their passport and their way of the country, was and the person that they claim purchased them and everyone else is me. So US immigration is sitting there rubbing their hands going, oof, not only have we managed to get Americans, this bad man with his Kingster's been doing it. So they turned up in my life up 3.5 months. Now, partway through that, God, if they'd have offered me a get out clause like that for dobbing someone else in, well, I probably would. I've been really upset with it, but I probably that pressure because it is just massively remove all your phones, you end up completely isolated from your friends, and quite frankly, there were a few people that I felt definitely not my friends, because the moment they heard, they were like, no, no smoke without guilty. Thanks, lesbian. Not my target demographic in the slightest. But seriously, and 5 hours sitting in Brixton police station taking the piss out of police officers, fucking hard. Up for 3.5 hours, I got some really good jabs back in there. Least of all because it was kind of like, had you have done your properly busy raving nail bars, massage parlours, because that's where all the human trafficking shit really goes on, you know? I mean, to date we've had a store of LAM selling people. Not really that kind of a thing, really, is it? But there we go. So I've been through it both as a people deal with complex situations, and I've been on the receiving twice now. One, I think it was 22. We were having a charity raffle to raise money for someone's funeral, and it was being broadcast. So someone sitting and 2 seats behind them, and they got off the bus and called the police to complain about and dressed in brandishing implements of sexual torture. Now, the police were offered to watch the YouTube video. We stressed the police the fact that it is on YouTube platform with the highest level of censorship, with a hint that we weren't doing it for you. But yeah, that's that one again. They interviewed the person and managed proper investigation work because they had to watch the CCTV on the car details of the person and all the rest of it. And the thing that they were going to get me for was the online flashing. Now, dressed, holding horses, stuff like that. But, you know, some police officers decided that they bring their bias to work with on a particular occasion. And, yeah. Yes. So as a result of that, I'm also very, very good at telling you how to appeal against police issues. The police complaint independent as nothing, and they are absolute analysis. But when they reject you to the mayor's office, different strategies for dealing with each team in it. You can one with the IOPC, the moment you go that, you have to literally take all the emotion out of it, go to a police code and point out what it is. Okay? Because if you're incredibly then they can't actually not. Because initially they came back with mine and said, no, the police have done nothing wrong. And I'm like, if the police they managed to have my mobile phone, why did they not report data breach to the commissioner's office down the list and got a, oh yes, it's wrong, the police have done something wrong, all the steps that they have to go to Did it give me any pleasure? Did it give me any financial compensation? In the fucking slightest. But the fact that senior police officers would be repeatedly dragged into conduct and their behaviour, I'm going to take that on the full win. because they disrupted me for 3 months. And it was about 3.5 years of me disrupting. I was prepared to just drop it and just move on. But some aspects of kink which are still considered do not a good way of dealing with kink situations. They just don't seem to be able to do it right. They either come in heavy-handed and say, "God, you horrible mean man, you've been beating up this woman," and they take that, or we might, because society tells us. So, as a group of people, like the fact that, you know, if any of us is kinky in some way, according, then that means that 10% of this must be kinky as well. I think it's a little bit more than 10%. And some of them are fine and they're integrated into our community, but one or two of the others have not been very good. Okay. We just have to be a little bit careful that just because they wear a uniform, that they're a nice person. Okay? I think it's proved like a few years ago, be mindful of it. At this point, if anyone has any questions, stick your hand and I will answer it if I can. This subject, I say I cannot about children. And usually about 50% of the time when I do this on the 6th hour, what would you do with it? Age appropriate. How you deal with children, age appropriate. The only thing is, but there we go. Yep.
You have the right to see this. I should listen to my. Those who
or on good, have the funds to pay for legal assistance where needed. Absolutely brilliant. He's very kink friendly and open with it. So if you do get stuck, give us a shout and we will point you in the right direction with okay. Because is the duty solicitor, well, they're getting paid a modest for attending that first meeting, and then they're getting paid for that stage for everything else. They're concerned, except the portion. Except the portion. Now the problem is sexual these offences, that portion includes being listed on sex offender. When you are not get off it. Simple as that. Always avoid this portion type strategy. Okay, because they're really supposed to be, they're not working. So yes,
keep aware.
kink aware. So it's also the cap list. Okay, but again, as I said, give us a shout. We can point you in the right direction if that's appropriate. Or if you need, hope that no one else, because it's a pain in the arse. And even though you're wrong, you then have to increase of legal. And as a rule of thumb, about 1,000 in a solicitor or other things on. Okay. Not a cheap process. God, you get what you pay for.
Really, really good words.
Okay. Um, and that kind of fizzled when we started on having traceable details for people in names. Everyone kind of appeared on FetLife at that stage. So the main one is FetLife. If you're into furries or cosplay, there will be other main groups for that. Yeah. Like it or hate it, it's side what you put into it. Most importantly, if you are female or female identifying, get ready to hit the delete button inbox. No fucker is going to bother reading your profile, and they will all be, oh my god, please be nice to us, please do this. And sometimes it feels like you're reading the inbox of a position because people just what they want out of it. Okay, but personally, there are some details. There are features, or you can set it so that people can't just message you, which does cut down a lot.
I'd ask a question in answer to your question. What do you want out of a kink website?
Well, I found a couple of, and I've been to a couple of events, which are they're the only ones at the moment, so I just kind of like looking to network a little bit, and then it's not so to speak, I may know someone else.
Most people for their events calendar, which is reasonable, and for a nice way of somebody you meet someone at an event, giving you phone number, go, this is my FetLife. It's handy for that. The rest of it, as Cosmic says, varies dramatically for you and the person on their experience.
The kind of events are the munches. Okay, so a group of Kingsters meeting in a pub, a subject or based on geographic locality. Great opportunity to network, meet other people, what's going on. There is a North London munch, there is a Balance West London munch. They're all based, but then there's also a stack of munches that are very subject. Drink, enjoy tea with people. If you're looking for a mistress, go enjoy the cattle market at the end of month. You might find that it's 98% male and 1 or 2 women, but that's the nature of the beast. Whenever you have where whether it's dominant women, there aren't believed to be enough to match the number of subby men, vice versa. Okay, so dominant and submissive women, very kind of.
And because I have social anxiety, I tend to go to munches where there is an activity. So there's a board games munch, or there's things where it's based around for myself, because I find strike up a conversation quite tricky. But if somebody says, "Do you fancy a game of Cards Against Humanity?" Quite straightforward. I'm tricky because I'm a compulsory volunteer. So turned it around. I came in crew because it's a way for with it without having to interact with it. I like volunteering. conversations or because you're wearing a t-shirt, you take on the responsibilities, you learn from the crew. Before people will come and talk to you and ask questions, even what it is. That's what I tend to be at things. Or even just volunteer once, and then you meet the people who are also volunteering. There are lots of places that ask volunteers, not just LAM. That's to know people. For me, as a social action person, in an environment where I am doing something that also happens to be social, rather than just sitting there in. But as David said, different munches are organised in different ways. Some actually have a meet and greet to show you around. So again, I'd always keep an eye out for those munches that do have a meet.
What's the museum lunch still going?
On and off. It's still out there.
I saw one meal.
It's not as regular, but it's.
It's not on.
Sorry.
It's not on because the last. Yeah. She got other interests inside of Christmas. There is one that's being done specifically for.
I feel sorry for the guy at the back because there's two of you talking to him. Like,
There's one being done specifically, but I think it's a different person. If it's the same people.
And equally, if there isn't a munch that thing you're interested in, start one. Yeah. You might you and a couple of people down the pub for the first couple, but if there are enough people that subscribe to the idea, the concept,
that's how they all started.
yeah. So the cock wandering will tell you something on a munch because you're 5 years yet. Okay, call it every time. You've got much right to start a munch for the person sitting next to you, the person sitting on the other side of the room. Okay? Simple as that. Now, I want all of the hot wings to shit me munch. People are going to okay? It's generally work well for you. But only Mongolia tech is a fucking type of music, believe it.
One of our volunteers.
then you might or enough people to join you in enjoying that. Finding someone to spank their off. Any intent kind of go, oh my god, I'm going to go to your munch because you hang out with all London and find a way of sneaking one away from you. It's not going to get you what you want. Whereas if I come and I'm going to have that's a fucking bonus.
The preferences are available.
Yeah. Just about every kind of gender configuration should be available. And the bodies munch, yeah.
Ooh.
One of the new genders is and if you go to a munch and you go, God, that was fucking awful, try and force yourself time because you might just bad events. And it could be the great atmosphere that night, or it could equally be you.
And also, there's some good munches now. As a sober person, they are now popping up that are sober venues. There is enough out looking or come to places like this and ask people, do you know of this one?
Yeah. And guarantee you it's practically constant with everyone on the scene. They love talking about their kinks. Yeah. So go out, talk to people, strike up those conversations because you really don't know where they're going. Now, quite happy to talk to them when if they come up to me find anyone to play with. Appropriate. Who could we kind of do things with you and match people up? Okay? Nothing worse than the person who turns up at lunch, oh, no one fucking talks to me, no one wants to play with me. Miserable attitude. I'm not fucking surprised. Go in with something positive, wanting to engage, wanting to interact, and not in, and you're more likely to get what you're looking for.
We also help out here. Wristbands, yes, I've been collecting them. So if you see them with the green one, they're opening new friends. We've got them on the table upstairs. So we realised these a couple of years ago.
So social engagement wristbands. Oh my god, I want to talk to people with wristbands. I want to with my mates and people that I know only. Yeah. Actually talk to socially by anyone with wristband. That. And it's a very easy way of making those. Now, if you're wearing a and someone will ask you politely not to go, oi, fuck off, I'm wearing a red wristband. But I will ask you to hold it up and say, the red wristband means I don't want to anyone I don't already know. Because that each. And actually, if we can then kind of approach the next person in passing. It's building the kind of community that we want. People are like, fucking hell, that spoke to me and I'm wearing a kick him out. Yeah, well, I'd far rather educate them, make sure that they're doing it right, and you don't make this mistake again. You give them the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, they have to learn today. They'll be out in the street very, very quickly. But, you know, it's not the biggest of the friends. Sorry?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, if you've got a green one, I've got spare.
There are like 3 pint glasses and we top them up throughout the day. What will shock you is that we top up the green other month in the bag. We're still pretty much on the original bag of reds, and I think we've gone through yellows. So here, so many people are coming here because they want that social connection. Okay, and it's a really simple, easy way of identifying. Hey, I'm looking for this.
I have a question. When you said you initiate, when did you start this?
Started in 2005, launched in 2006.
The very first meeting. How well attended was that? I've got a second question. Was there ever a time, like any organization, you know, there's ups and downs, you have peaks and your valleys. Did you ever say,
All the fucking time. All the time. And you know when it really got to me?
today?
No, 2020. And I'll come on to that in a second. But so, first ever LAM was attended by 350 people, which is pretty much most of the active in London at the time. Now, like everything, the second lower numbers, but then it started to graduate. So we've never had a LAM where it was so quiet that we weren't serving the traders. If they're on the flip, if they don't make enough. So it's always been this gradual increase, right up until 20, when obviously there's a pandemic and all the rest of it, we're allowed to hold events. So at that stage, I'm scratching my head thinking, how the hell are we going to do this? And thought, it can't be that hard to go online, can it? So we 6 weeks of virtual lab summits. Yes. So started at 12:30 with a little bit of music, a couple of adverts. Then there would be an entire movie orientation. Then on to more adverts. Then a workshop. Then a book reading, some comedy. Then a second workshop. and then updates of what was going on from there. So we virtual, and we also had a Zoom type chat log in while they do the watch party and all that. And we ran those 56 events. Yes, and by about the fourth one I was because I love sitting in a room with people. I can bounce ideas off, you can ask questions. You're sitting staring at a computer screen, it's a very, and having to be that when I was living in a house on my own and was not seeing another human being in 1 week. Very different. At the same time, I realized that it was absolutely critical for gas Kingston. And equally, we've all been locked down. So what was the interest of people down in 2020? Bondage. Absolutely, the whole thing took off because so many people had time on their hands. They couldn't go out, they were indoors, they started to explore. At that stage, there's obviously no events to go to. So one of the others that was feeding
Things you already had at home that you
yeah, and it literally for us because we've got an awful lot of content. Couple of months, retail was allowed to open again. We're non-essential retail, so we hired a farm down near Brighton, and we did outdoor markets because we couldn't get venues because they weren't allowed to open, and therefore we were doing things in people's storage barns. We were by fields, building Wi-Fi networks and people could have access. Because there's no power in them. So our network that we built was solar power heaters that went all the way. People could socially distance and still remain connected at the same time. That's just kind of what we do. We don't like giving in to a problem. We want to find a creative solution that we can. And a lot of transferables. I mean, the fact that we now live stream from the event, but we were audio because, having their face on camera was a little bit risky, the rest of it. Well, times do move on, and so no. And to that end, if you want to do any catch up on the LAM workshops, YouTube, I think I've started about 2012. So workshops a month, 12 months in the year, best part of 10 years, enough workshops that can be busy. And equally, we like doing obscure workshops. So a workshop on orientation was recorded, and it's like, wow, that not keen timing. But that's one of the reasons why we wanted it represented. Traditionally, it's one that people went for. So let's bring these things out of the shadows, but people can talk about, ask questions. Because at the end of the day, pretty much most of us have thought to ourselves, what kind of sicko and deviant into this shit? And there are normal, pleasant sicko and deviant. You don't have to be in people's gardens with a balaclava on looking in through their windows. Yeah. Now again, go on FetLife. Man with balaclava to look through windows. Loads of them. And a lot that do it. So, there are going to be people out there that are looking for the kinks that you are prepared to communicate to the rest of the world. And it really doesn't matter how obscure it is. Yeah. God, I knew someone like transforming latex doll, big enclosure, making them stand in unusual poses and singing nursery rhymes. And that's him. They
Like,
used to
nursery
do-
rhymes is
exactly. Yeah, but I'm a little teapot while dressed up as a latex doll. If and you think that would be the case that you without talking to everyone about it, find someone who would help you fulfill it. But express it, communicate it, you will find someone out there to either do it in exchange for what you're going to do afterwards, or but without yourself communicate it and getting out and talking to people. Don't wait for the yoga driver who happens to be king that turns up one random day. Yeah, that's not the efficient way of doing this. Yeah, get out, meet people, get on, be sociable, be frightened to ask questions, don't be frightened to explain, because there is no wrong. Okay, well, wrong. Should be good, clean, filthy fun. Okay. There we go.
just check the 330 days.
Was that?
300.
Yeah. That's just the archive. If you look at the live streams archive,
Basically, you just said 330.
and I'm not sure that they count the same thing. Might be even more. But the other thing is you will find that there are lots of workshops where there's more of them, like flogging. And this is because everyone does things in a slightly different way. And as long as you're accurate and good, nothing will do it. You're okay. So we bring in multiple speakers on core subjects because we want different perspectives. Okay. Generally, speakers are, this is the only way forward. And if you don't hold it exactly this way, you're doing it wrong. It's the way that it's okay. Toy in someone in section, not the fucking other side of the room. West LAM was a huge, massive Icelandic Viking who one day strapped someone up onto a St Andrew's cross, opened up his toy bag, and as he's rubber chickens, they rest of the venue stopped. Really having the whale of their lives. Awful lot of fun. And they ended up kind of laughing, joking at the end of the session. What they were. Whereas Superdome is going to can't play with it. That's absolutely ridiculous. Of course you can fucking play with a rubber chicken. You don't hit the person with a rubber, stick the rubber chickens to the person and then hit them through the rubber chickens. Because that way you know it's not. Thing is, like this is your imagination. Okay. Someone was to be an awful, horrible, nasty, bad man. I went out with a latex hooded floor outfit. So literally, I looked like the old Hanna-Barbera hooded claw for the cartoon days. Absolute hoot. Because to me, it's like, wow, I get to explore that, and yeah, tie you to the train track. But there we go. So yeah, make the most of it, enjoy it, for yourself, but be sensible in doing so. As I said, no all off faster than anyone else. Um, Occasionally we do get people, this is my new submissive, and she's done everything. Do that really quickly. Pure thing you can think of, keep quiet. My, oh, you've done everything. Has anyone hung your and put a dildo handle? Stupid is declared on everything because there is no way everything. And equally, is anything that you, my guy, I would do stage where extreme example might be okay. Keep it, hold it in reserve for the day when you feel that you're ready. Okay, no shame in having something you haven't done because it gives you something to work towards. Because otherwise, you'll be like, "Woo, been doing it once and I've done. Oh wow, whew, right, King Carl, you are." Okay. I would say it took me 4 to develop my own style, what I was into, what I was interested in. Before that, an awful lot of experimentation. Um, Wrote for about the first 3 years, and then my around rope. I'd start off at one end of the rope, and I'd tie something together with a knot, trail off here, and I go off like that. Start in the middle of the bonding, don't we? Yeah. In those days, there weren't as many jobs that teaching, and you kind of looked and went, that's fine. And it was in 2004, a couple of months after I started the rope bondage night, picked up the room that it was going round. Oh, I shouldn't be running that fucking club, you can't even do so. So I went to a workshop and the light bulb in my head, oh yeah, that's what I've not. Oh. Now, impressive. No, I've people in wheelchairs because you know when you have the and the follow up,
Yeah.
I had to actually get those out. I've subsequently done it a number of times, and I like doing it outdoors, tying people to trees because again, not what you expect if you're walking through see someone in a wheelchair floating down a tree. Surrealism. Yeah. It's art, isn't it? I was just about to say darlings that I have on my wall. Okay? It's beautiful. You can absorb and form. They're hand printed as you used to describe them. Now, that is what it should be. It should be this blur of thoughts that are in your head. Rather than from the week before, the month before, the year before, and then on the things that you want to go and explore and do. God, you really should not. There's far too much to start off with. And then, once you've finished exploring one side of the equation, what is the other side to consider? Okay? The point that says that's it. I want to go and live in North Korea. You know what border is. Okay? As that. I'm just trying to think what else. Be good to yourselves. Okay? Like in life, you are picking up and learning. Okay? Think of it as like your first. Okay? Desperately trying to remember everyone's names and trying to remember what the name of that was that was going to be working. It's fine. Find your feet. Okay? 3 months into the role, yeah, all of that will be difficult on day one. Nature. Find work. If you're really push yourself, you should learn complex. But because it's not something that you do 7 days a week, it's like a part-time hobby or a part-time skill that you will pick up much more slowly. When you do full immersion, absolutely. In order to do that, you're probably spending a couple of grand and 5 there, one specific part, and then you move on to the next step. Can be done, and equally, I don't if you wrong, that's when people get bored. Yeah, because you can look back and go, right, okay, this is where I started, and this is where I'm a couple of decades later. You can that time it's taken you to build up. Equally, muscle memory. So to get good at playing exercises is to sit there in front of the TV, just constantly moving the way through. Because then you get the fluid with it, it becomes a second nature. Okay? If you only pick it up when you're going it, a big disappointment. Okay? We started one night, set up, or they set up bondage, yeah, and they're literally checking the step book before tying. Okay, not a good look. Okay, you can come out in public really certain that you, because if the model is kind of standing there like this kind of thing, and you're flicking through the book text, yeah, it's not. I'm coming up as having done this for so. Question? No. The next at 4 o'clock is DOM and sub dynamics. It's a kind of DOM Dynamics 1.0. So if you're interested in those, that's the big session for you. Then at 5:30 after that is the rope on. So we have a session on bondage that starts in here at 5:30 and runs through to 7. Yeah. And then this room open studio in the evening, socialising in the cocktail. The dungeon is club room. Equally, if you have any questions at all throughout, keep an eye out for wearing armbands and branded t-shirts, and they are more than happy to answer any questions. And if there is anything you would like to see, and we'll integrate that. Apart from that, awesome day today. Don't spend next month, and have as much fun as you can.